Good morning everyone. This is Kailin Kamikawa. This time, Japanese Prime Minister Suga will be on the 13th. More than 1 million ton of treated water from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, which was damaged by the Great East Japan earthquake. In the case of announcing that the government officially decided to release it to the sea, I would like to talk about the fact that China and South Korea have expressed concerns immediately. The Japanese government is safe because it releases diluted water after removing most of the radioactive material, claims. Also from the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. It has gained support as it is similar to the treatment method for contaminated water from nuclear power plants around the world. Japan has also declared that it will actively accept IAEA inspections. From the United States, the U.S. State Department, the government of Japan is making decisions in line with global nuclear safety standards and support the decision of the Japanese government. However, two countries, South Korea and China, have expressed opposition to this for no reason. China, to protect the international public interest in the health and safety of the Chinese people. China wants to raise concerns with the Japanese government through diplomacy. South Korea also said, in the future, to our people and the environment. I am extremely disappointed with this decision, which could have an impact. By the way, let's see what the Korean media is saying. It will be sent from Arirang News on April 13, 2021.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, April 13th, coming to you live from Seoul. I'm Kim Mo-gyeon. Our top story today, after years of will they or won't they, the Japanese government has finally confirmed it will release radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant into the ocean. The question now is how Japan can and will carry out this plan. For more, we connect to our Choi Jung-yun at the News Center. Jung-yun.
Mo-gyeon, on Tuesday morning, the Japanese government said in a cabinet meeting that it will start releasing the water into the Pacific Ocean in 2 years. This is the first official statement after years of back and forth on how to process the still radioactive water that's been stored since 2011, when the powerful earthquake and tsunami of the same year all but destroyed the Fukushima power plant. More than 1.25 million tons of contaminated water are stored in tanks, of which only 30% meets the standard for release of radioactive materials into the sea. Although Japan claims it will eliminate most of radionuclides in the water, around 60 radioactive substances, including tritium, cannot be removed with technology currently available. So the Japanese government aims, if it can, to decrease the concentration of the radioactive substances in the water. It will tighten by 40 times its original standard of releasing tritium. It will dilute the radioactive level until there is 1,500 becquerels per liter. With approval by nuclear authorities still required, it will likely take a couple of years until the actual release starts. The water will be let out slowly until 2041 to 2051, which is the time frame Tokyo has set for the plant's total decommissioning. The plan was announced despite strong opposition from 24 countries and over 300 NGOs. South Korea's foreign ministry has said it would not be unacceptable for Tokyo to release the water without sufficiently consulting its neighbors, citing safety and the environment. However, Tokyo's statement this morning made no note of those or other concerns. That's all I have at this hour. Back to you, Mo-gyeon.
Thank you for that, Chung-yun.
Apparently. At first glance, it is reported under the guise of neutrality, but in fact it is also extremely distorted. It is clear that Fukushima is being used as a political tool for Japan bashing. It's as if we're trying to release only 30% of the release criteria. It seems that you are performing an impression operation as if, but what you actually release is treated water, that has been treated with ALPS and most of the radioactive substances have been removed except for tritium. Under international law, it is not a problem that causes your back finger to be stabbed. In the first place, tritium is released from nuclear power plants all over the world. For example, the nuclear power plant in South Korea has 136 trillion becquerels a year, and the French reprocessing facility has 1.3 becquerels a year. Sellafield reprocessing facility in the UK reaches 1,624 trillion becquerels annually. The Darlington nuclear power plant in Canada releases about 495 trillion becquerels annually. Did these countries get a permit from their neighbors? Did South Korea get permission from Japan to drain its own tritium? In comparison, the treated water in Fukushima is, according to the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, the amount of tritium stored in the tank of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant is 860 trillion becquerels. It is only the amount released by the Korean nuclear power plant in 6 to 7 years. A reprocessing plant in France releases only the amount in less than a year. On a total volume basis, South Korea's Wolsong nuclear power plant we have already released more than 8 times as much tritium as Fukushima into the Sea of Japan. No environmental impact has been identified in these countries either. From the nuclear facilities of their own countries, all over the world it releases the radioactive substance tritium into the ocean and the atmosphere. All are emissions based on the regulatory standards of each country. No significant impact on the human body or environment has been confirmed around the facility. Furthermore, the treated water in Fukushima is diluted 100 times or more with seawater before it is released. We promise to keep it below 1,500 becquerels per liter. Compared to the 10,000 becquerels set by the World Health Organization, WHO, it is 1/7 of the international standard. Moreover, it is not released all at once, but promises to be released over years and decades. It is hard to believe that this is so stupid that China and South Korea cannot understand it. Obviously, I think I'm just trying to use it for politics. Moreover, Korea, while grasping in 2011 that tritium was dripping into the groundwater at the Wolsong nuclear power plant, incompetence and irresponsibility of regulators and businesses that have yet to be resolved, and without a confirmation test of where the groundwater flows, to the Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power generation company that just insists that there is no outflow, I just criticize him as, I'm just stunned, and continue to leave it alone. Moreover, treat Japanese tritium as dangerous. As soon as it was discovered that the nuclear power plant in my country was draining tritium, they make excuses such as, not a big amount, and, 6 bananas. But the problem is not there. 1. From the water collected in the manhole of the groundwater drainage channel of the turbine building of Wolsong Nuclear Power Plant Unit 3 in April 2019, 713,000 becquerels of tritium were detected per liter. 2. The detection point is a place where radioactive substances should not be found. Only here is no longer a violation of the rules. This is the level at which the nuclear power plant must be stopped immediately and investigated. I am amazed at how sloppy it is. 2. Emission standard allowed by nuclear power plants, 40,000 becquerels per liter. The problem was that the concentration was 17.8 times higher than that of. In addition to the emission location violation, the emission concentration violation. This is also unacceptable. 3. Nuclear experts and Hansuan officials the radioactivity concentration measurement standard in the nuclear power plant site, which must be relatively high, claims to exaggerate the danger compared to the concentration allowed for external discharge. However, there is no intranuclear measurement standard in the nuclear safety legislation. The underground of the nuclear power plant is not a prescribed discharge route. The continued outflow of radioactive material beneath the nuclear power plant should never happen. Since there is no standard value in the nuclear power plant, the emission standard was presented as a reference value instead. It's cheating the facts as if there were another standard. Despite the fact that contaminated groundwater can affect the outside of the nuclear power plant, Hansuan and regulators have not even made efforts to pinpoint the cause, scale and impact of the leak. The person concerned, where and how much is leaking, where does it flow on the groundwater? I don't know Hansahara, and I don't know the Nuclear Safety Commission. The unknown situation puts us in greater fear and danger. He demanded that a joint public-private investigation should be conducted to accurately understand the cause of the problem. What South Korea does is just concealing it and not pursuing any cause. Is this a decent nation? The fact that these countries criticize Japan's release of tritium itself, it can only be said to be poor. Without confirming where the groundwater will flow, he said, there is no external outflow. From the perspective of Japanese people, the open mouth is not blocked. 4. Moreover, while grasping this situation from 2011, I have been hiding everything until now. And all you have to do is make excuses. Where is the qualification to criticize Japan? Don't pay attention to the fact that high concentrations of tritium were found where it shouldn't leak. He makes claims such as tritium also exists in anchovy and banana. Moreover, has it leaked to the outside? Why do you know that it hasn't been washed away without inspection? Are you ready to hide from the beginning? Also, Koreans who swallow such claims are just amazed. I don't think it's necessary to listen to what these countries claim. Unfortunately, this is the reality of the neighboring country, the world. Lie like exhaling, the Japanese, and people all over the world, should never forget this word. Don't be fooled by Korean lies. That's all.